Dear students, welcome back to another video lecture on the course Signals and Systems with course code 18EC45. In the previous video lecture, we solved some problems to understand how input and impulse response sequence can be used to obtain the output of a linear time invariant system by using convolution summation. And also, we understood the properties of the output of a LTI system obtained by convolution. After that, we discussed the procedure for reflect and shift method for convolution summation evaluation. And reflect and shift method is also generally known as graphical method to obtain convolution summation. And the procedure is to obtain the output of LTI system will be having two sequences. One the input sequence and another one will be the impulse response of the system. Impulse response is nothing but output of an linear time invariant system when unit impulse function is applied as an input to it. The procedure begins with plotting both of these sequences, input and the impulse response. Input will be plotted as it is, but impulse response will be reflected first and then shifted by some value n to obtain h of n minus k. So simply we'll be plotting x of k, which is nothing but the input sequence, and h of n minus k. H of n minus k and x of k will be plotted with respect to independent variable k. So x of k will be plotted straight away. But to obtain h of n minus k, if k is the independent variable, we need to reflect it first and then shift by minus n. That will be the first step. We'll have to plot both the sequences. And the second step is we'll shift that impulse response sequence to the far left. That is, we'll consider n value, which represents the time shift for the impulse response, to be large and negative. We'll shift it towards the far left. And later, we'll slide it. We'll keep on increasing the value of n. Now, increasing the value of n means we'll keep on moving that impulse response sequence towards the right side by increasing the value of n. And for every value of n, we'll check the overlap between the input signal and the time shifted impulse response, and we'll write the equation, mathematical representation for the amount of overlap, which is nothing but the intermediate signal. And through this intermediate signal, for the region of overlap, for that interval, we'll write the output y of n for the LTI system. We'll keep on doing this until the entire sequence, that is the impulse response, is slide over the input sequence. We'll repeating these procedures till the last sample in the impulse response sequence passes through the input sequence. Now, to understand these procedures, we'll be solving some problems to obtain convolution summation using this reflect and shift method, or by using the graphical method. Reflect and shift method and graphical method both are same. And the first problem we'll be considering is, consider a system with impulse response h of n equals to 3 by 4 to the power n u of n. Use graphical method to determine the output at times n equals to minus 5, n equals to 5 and n equals to 10 when input x of n equals to u of n. This is the problem statement. In this problem statement, we have two sequences. Input, which is defined as x of n, whose nature is unit step function u of n, and the impulse response of an LTI system, which is defined as h of n, which is an exponential sequence, only a right-sided sequence. Because of this u of n, 3 by 4 to the power n is an exponential signal. Because of u of n, that exponential signal will be present from 0 to infinity only. So it's an right-sided exponential sequence. and we need to obtain the output for this input and the impulse response at specific values of n only, that is at -5, +5, and at n equals to 10. To begin with, we'll write the expression for intermediate signal. Intermediate signal for convolution summation is defined as Wn of k equals to x of k h of n minus k. Now we'll plot both input and the impulse response h of n minus k with respect to k, and both of them have been represented here. X of k for k independent variable is an unit step function, discrete time unit step, which will be from 0 to infinity at integer values only, where the magnitude will be 1. To plot h of n minus k, we'll have to understand what is h of n first. H of n is defined as 3 by 4 to the power n u of n. Now 3 by 4 is between 0 and 1. So this is an decaying exponential which will be present from 0 to infinity. To plot h of n minus k, if k is the independent variable, then we'll have to reflect this first to obtain h of minus k. After we reflect it, it will be a growing exponential which will be present between minus infinity and 0. And then we'll shift that reflected impulse response by n, and for n positive value, the shifted reflected impulse response has been shown here. Now for n equals to -5, if n is equal to -5, the intermediate signal can be written as w of -5 of k equals to x of k h of -5 minus k. If n is -5, then h of n minus k will be on the left side. The sequence h of n minus k will be on the left side, and it will be defined between minus infinity and -5 only. Samples, non-zero samples, will be between minus infinity and -5 only. And for n equals to -5, the operation we are performing is multiplying these two sequences, x of k and h of -5 minus k. If we multiply x of k and h of -5 minus k for n equals to -5, the intermediate signal will be 0, because x of k is starting from 0 and h of -5 minus k is present only between minus infinity and -5. So even if you multiply 0 samples with the non-zero samples will be a 0. So intermediate signal will be 0. So w minus 5 of k is 0. Because intermediate signal is 0, if you use this intermediate signal in the output convolution summation, the output will be 0. For the next interval, for n equals to 5, the sequence impulse response will be shifted towards the right side. And now if we take the product between the input and the shifted impulse response, the intermediate signal can be written as w5 of k. X of k is unit step. H of the definition for h of 5 minus k will be 3 by 4 to the power 5 minus k, and this will be true only for 6 samples. Because x of k is an unit step function, it will be present from 0 to infinity. If n is equal to 5, that is if we shift the impulse response to n equals to 5, the number of samples that will be overlapping between the input and the impulse response will be only 6. That is at n equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So the intermediate signals expression will be w5 of k equals to 3 by 4 to the power 5 minus k for k between 0 to 5 and 0 otherwise. And the region of overlap has been shown here. If this is the intermediate signals representation, then what will be the output of LTI system at this instant? We can obtain that by using this intermediate signal in the convolution sum, which will be defined as y of phi equals to summation k 0 to phi 3 by 4 to the power phi minus k. If you simplify this and use the standard geometric series, we'll get y of phi equals to 3.288. This will be the value. This will be the output of LTI system at n equals to phi. And now for n equals to 10, the intermediate signals representation will be W10 of k equals to x of k h of 10 minus k. Now this time the overlap will be from 0 to 10. Overlap will be for 11 samples. And the intermediate signal mathematically for n equals to 10 can be written as W10 of k equals to 3 by 4 to the power 10 minus k, and this will be the value for k between 0 to 10, which is the overlap region, and 0 otherwise. Using this intermediate signal in the output, we'll get y10 of y10 equals to summation k 0 to 10 3 by 4 to the power 10 minus k, and if we simplify this, we'll get the value 3.831. Now if you observe all these three values, or if you observe both the sequences, overlap will begin when n value is equal to 0 or greater than 0. If n value is less than 0, there won't be any overlap. The intermediate signals value will be 0. Therefore, the output sequence will also be 0. That is one period for which we'll be checking the mathematical representation. As soon as n will be equals to 0 and for all the values greater than 0, overlap will begin. So the mathematical representation changes, because when there is overlap, intermediate signal will be non-zero. Because intermediate signal is non-zero, output will be non-zero. So the mathematical representation is changing from 0 value to some non-zero value. Now this is the change in mathematical representation that we spoke about in the procedure for reflect and shift method. And clearly for this input and the impulse response, there will be only two mathematical representation changes. One which will be 0 for n less than 0, and another some non-zero value for n greater than or equal to 0. And for n greater than or equal to 0, the overlap will be from 0 to n only. So intermediate signal in general can be written as Wn of k equals to 3 by 4 to the power n minus k for k between 0 to n and 0 otherwise. And if you look at the nature of the output we are getting, the output will get is, the output of the LTI system will be getting is exponentially growing. For n equals to phi, the output was 3.288, and for n equals to 10, the output is 3.831, which is more compared to the previous value. And this gives us the concept of convolution summation again. Convolution summation gives us the amount of overlap between input signal and the impulse response. For lower values of n, the amount of overlap will be less, so the output value is less. For larger values of n, the amount of overlap between the input and impulse response will be more, so the output value is more, 3.831 compared to 3.288. The next problem we'll be considering is, we'll consider a system with impulse response defined as h of n equals to 1 by 4 of u of n minus u of n minus 4. By reflect and shift method, determine output of the system to input x of n equals to u of n minus u of n minus 10. Now if you observe both the impulse response sequence and the input sequence, both are of rectangular nature. u of n minus u of n minus 4 is a rectangle which will be defined for only 4 values, and each of those value will be scaled by 1 by 4. And likewise, the input signal is also a rectangular function, u of n minus u of n minus 10. So input signal is a rectangular function of 10 samples, which will be defined from 0 to 9. Now we'll have to plot, according to the procedure's first step, we'll have to plot both these sequences, input as well as impulse response, with respect to k, not with respect to n. So with respect to k, x of k has been represented here, which is a rectangle present between 0 to 9. And also we have directly written h of n minus k. Now if you write the h of k, it will be having 4 samples present at 0, 1, 2 and 3 with amplitude 1 by 4. To obtain h of minus k, we'll reflect it. After reflecting it, the samples will be present from minus 3, minus 2, minus 1 and 0. And then we'll shift it for some arbitrary value of n, and the first value we'll be considering is to the far left. So because there are 4 samples, the first sample's index will be n, or the sample which will come at the last, that index will be represented as n, because that sample will represent the position where we'll be shifting the impulse response. So we'll represent it with an index n. Then what will be the index of the last sample? So there are total 4 samples. The last sample, to get the index of the last sample, will subtract it by 3. So n will be the index of the first sample and n minus 3 will be the index of the last sample. Now we can verify these index value for any value of n. Just consider a value of n. For example, say the first sample, n value is 4. If the first sample is at 4, the one sample previous to it will be at n minus 1, 4 minus 1, 3. Next sample will be 2 samples behind it, which will be n minus 2, 4 minus 2, 2. And the last sample will be at n minus 3, 4 minus 3, 1. Now, for the second step, we'll consider n to be large and negative, that is h of n minus k. In h of n minus k, will shift all of these 4 samples towards the left side. And for left-sided impulse response sequence, that is when n is less than 0, there won't be any overlap between the input and the impulse response. So the intermediate signal Wn of k will be equals to 0. Because the intermediate signal is 0, output y of n will be equals to 0 for n less than 0. And when n is equal to 0, the right edge, that is the first sample in the impulse response, will be overlapped or slides past the left edge of the input sequence x of k. And then the transition occurs. Till n was less than 0, there was no overlap. So the mathematical representation was 0. For n equals to 0, there is some non-zero value. So this is the transition. And when n equals to 0, what will be the value of the intermediate signal? It has been written here. W0 of k will be equals to 1 by 4 for k equals to 0 and 0 otherwise. Because we are multiplying, the value of x of k at n equals to 0 is 1. In fact, all 10 samples value is 1 because it was the unit step. It was derived from unit step. And the value of all 4 samples in the impulse response was 1 by 4. So when you multiply 1 with 1 by 4, we'll get 1 by 4 at k equals to 0 because there is only one sample's overlap. Now we'll keep on increasing the value of n as said in the procedure. Now when n is equal to 1, two samples will be overlapped. One sample at n equals to 0 and another sample at n equals to 1. So the value for intermediate signal will be 1 by 4 itself, but this time at two positions for k equals to 0 and 1, 0 otherwise. So in general, if we keep on doing this, that is for n greater than or equal to 0, what happens? The intermediate signal will be 1 by 4 for what values of k? Between 0 to n, and it will be 0 otherwise, which has been depicted here. If we use this intermediate signal in the convolution sum output, y of n will be written as summation k0 to n 1 by 4. If you write this in the geometric series, it will be n plus 1 divided by 4. So this will be the output. But for what values of n, we'll understand in the next step. Now let us consider n equals to 3. The above signal, intermediate signal, Wn of k, will hold good until n equals to 3 only. Because when n is greater than 3, what happens? For n greater than 3, the left edge, that is the last sample, n minus 3, the sample with the index n minus 3, slides past the left edge of x of k. So again there is a change in mathematical representation. So the above expression y of n equals to n plus 1 divided by 4 is valid only for n values between 0 and 2. For n values greater than or equal to 3, the intermediate signal, for n value greater than or equal to 3, there will be complete overlap. Complete overlap all 4 samples in the impulse response with the input sequence. So it will be written as, for n greater than or equal to 3. For example, if n is 3, the last sample will be present at 0 because n minus 3, where n value is 3, 3 minus 3 is 0. So all 4 samples in the impulse response will be overlapped on the input sequence. Intermediate signal will be 1 by 4 for k between n minus 3 and n and 0 otherwise. If we use this intermediate signal for the given value of k in the convolution summation, we'll get y of n equals to summation, lower limit will be n minus 3 and upper limit will be n for 1 by 4. If you simplify this, we'll get y of n equals to 1. And this representation, the output y of n will be equals to 1, will hold good until what value? Until there is a mathematical representation change. And when does that occur? When n is equal to 9. Now when n is equal to 9, the right edge of the h of n minus k, that is the sample value represented by n, will slide past the right edge of the x of k, because x of k is present till 9 only. If thus the third interval, that is y of n will be equals to 1 for n between 3 and 9 only. For n greater than 9, as I said, one of the sample in the impulse response will be outside from the overlap of the input. So the representation, for what values will it overlap? It is simple again, 1 by 4 for k between n minus 3 to 9. Only the right side samples have been come out of the overlap. Still some samples are overlap, and it will be defined by n minus 3 to 9. And this representation holds good until n minus 3 will be equal to 9. That is, the left edge of the impulse response will be overlapped on the right edge. The last sample in the impulse response will be overlapped on the last sample of the input. When will it be? When n minus 3 will be equals to 9, or if you simplify this, n will be equals to 12. The left side samples index will be 9 and the right side samples index will be 12 in the impulse response sequence. 12, sample 1 before that will be at 11, sample before that will be at 10, and sample before that will be at n equals to 9. So there will be 4 samples which will be present at 9, 10, 11 and 12, and for these values of n there will be only one sample overlap between the impulse response and the input sequence. So the mathematical representation for Wn of k again changes, and the fourth interval of shift is for n greater than 9 but less than or equal to 12. And for this interval, the output y of n will be summation k n minus 3 to 9 1 by 4. If we simplify this, output y of n will be equals to 13 minus n divided by 4. For n greater than 12, the last sample, the leftmost sample in the impulse response will have come out of the overlap. So again the intermediate signal will be 0. Because intermediate signal will be 0, output will also be 0 for n greater than 12. So we'll combine all these results and we'll plot the output of a linear time invariant system. For n between 0 and 2, the function value was defined as n plus 1 divided by 4. For n equals to 0, it will be 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 has been plotted here. For n equals to 1, it will be 2 by 4 or 1 by 2. 1 by 2 has been plotted here. And for n equals to 2, it will be 3 by 4. 3 by 4 has been plotted here. And for the values between 3 and 9, the output was equal to 1, which has been plotted here. And again, for the samples between 10 and 12, the function was defined by 13 minus n divided by 4, which will be again 3 by 4, 1 by 2 and 1 by 4. And from this graph, we can get to know, as the impulse response was towards the far left and we kept moving it towards the right side, the amount of overlap kept on increasing. At some point, the amount of overlap was constant when all 4 samples in the impulse response were overlapped on the input sequence. As it was moving out, the amount of overlap again started decreasing. Next, we'll prove some standard identities. The convolution between the input and the unit impulse function will be equals to the input sequence itself. This is the identity sequence. Unit impulse is the identity sequence for the input signal. We had studied this in the properties of convolution summation. We'll prove it now. Convolution between the input and the impulse function in terms of summation will be written as minus infinity to plus infinity x of k delta n minus k. Now this is the sampling property, or it is x of k at k equals to n only. So it will be an x of n, the input sequence itself. Now the convolution between the input sequence and the time shifted impulse function represented by delta n minus n naught will be the input sequence shifted to n naught, which will be represented by x of n minus n naught. So summation minus infinity to plus infinity x of k delta n minus k minus n naught. This will be the input sequence which will be present at k equals to n minus n naught, which is nothing but x of n minus n naught. And the last identity, x of n convolution with the time shifted unit step function u of n minus n naught will be equals to sum minus infinity to n minus n naught x of k. If we use this time shifted unit step function in convolution summation, it will be written as minus infinity to plus infinity x of k u of n minus k minus n naught. Now u of n minus k minus n naught is an unit step function itself, so its value will be either 0 or 1. But for what values of k? It will be 1 for k less than or equal to n minus n naught, and it will be 0 for k greater than n minus n naught. Therefore, the limits in the summation, the upper limit in the summation will be n minus n naught x of k. In the last problem, we'll consider exponential sequence for both impulse response as well as input. Consider a system with impulse response h of n equals to alpha to the power n u of n and input x of n equals to alpha to the power n u of n. Determine the system output. Both impulse response of the system and inputs to the system are of exponential in nature. And we know that to obtain the output, we'll have to perform convolution between both input and impulse response, which is defined as summation minus infinity to plus infinity x of k h of n minus k. We'll not use graphical method here because it is pretty straightforward. We'll just use equations, simplify them, and we'll try to obtain the output. If you substitute x of k and h of n minus k, it will be rewritten as alpha to the power k u of k and alpha to the power n minus k u of n minus k. If you decompose the second alpha value, alpha to the power plus k and alpha to the power minus k will be cancelled out. And alpha to the power n will be independent of the summation, so it will be taken out. And inside summation will be having two terms, u of k, u of n minus k. And this product between unit step and time shifted unit step will be equal to 1 for n greater than or equal to 0, but k value will be between 0 and n. For k between 0 and n has to be compulsorily greater than or equal to 0, and it will be 0 for n less than 0. If we use this in the above summation, we can rewrite it as y of n equals to alpha to the power n summation lower limit will be equals to 0 and upper limit will be equals to n. Will be accumulating 1 for n plus 1 number of times. So y of n equals to alpha to the power n plus 1 u of n. So convolution between two exponential functions will be an exponential function itself. I hope all of you understood all the problems we did solve for the day and also understood the procedure for convolution summation. If you have any doubts, you can contact me. Thank you all.